Welcome to part 2 of the T-spine slash cervical thoracic spine swimmer's view projection image analysis. Let's talk about the image analysis guidelines for our swimmer's view. Image analysis guidelines state that the right and left cervical zygapophyseal joints and articular pillars and posterior ribs should be demonstrated as superimposed. The humerus that is elevated above the head should be aligned with the vertebral column. The 5th through 7th cervical vertebra are demonstrated without shoulder superimposition. The intervertebral disc spaces should be demonstrated as open. Vertebral bodies are demonstrated without distortion. The first thoracic vertebra is at the center of the exposure field. We know that we center the central ray and at an area between C7 and T1 with this. And the 5th through 7th cervical vertebra and 1st through 3rd thoracic vertebra are included within the exposure field. I know there might be a little variation with that, and again, Merrill's does not go into this much detail, but these are some additional guidelines for you to utilize to understand whether or not you have enough anatomy on your image, as well as some guidelines to go by that are a little bit more in depth. As you can see, I have posted in this presentation those image analysis guidelines. Again, like I said, they're just for your additional help to complete your image analysis, as well as helping you get through understanding the appropriate projection and whether we need to repeat an image or not. So I did want to look at how to determine if there's any rotation in your swimmer's view. And in a swimmer's view, cervicothoracic vertebra projection, if there is rotation noted, you will see that the right side articular pillars and posterior ribs, the zygapophyseal joints, and the humeri move away from the left side, obscuring the pedicles and distorting the bodies. When rotation is demonstrated on a lateral projection, basically you want to determine which side is rotated anterior and which side is rotated posterior by evaluating the location of the humerus that is positioned closer to the IR. It'll be more easily identifiable on the image because that shoulder is closer to the IR. If the humerus is rotated anteriorly, as demonstrated in this image, the shoulder position closest to the IR is positioned anteriorly. When you move on to this projection, you can see that the humerus that is closest to the IR here is rotated posteriorly. So that should indicate to you that that side that is down closest to the IR is shifted posteriorly, and the shoulder that is away from the IR is anterior. So it's important to get that mid-coronal plane perpendicular with the IR so we can get an adequate image. So let's go over the practice analysis for our C-spine, cervicothoracic C7T1 image here. You can see by evaluating this image that the right and left articular pillars, zygapophyseal joints, and the posterior ribs are demonstrated without superimposition. This means in relationship to rotation, that the left side of the thorax is rotated anteriorly. And the reason that I can tell this is because the humeral head, oops, I'm trying to make an arrow here, but it's not working out. Let me erase that because that is very poor. But the humeral head here is anterior to the C-spine there. So you should immediately think that if it's anterior to the spine, that means the left side that is down is rotated anterior. So in order to correct this, we need to rotate the right thorax anteriorly until the mid-coronal plane is again perpendicular with the IR. This concludes our analysis on T-spine and your swimmer's view. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me while I'm at clinic, or you can stop by my office or send me an email. Thank you.